Welcome to the 2023 SUS CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The Southeastern United States Canadian Provinces, or SUS CP Alliance, was established in 2007 to formally advance a common interest in enhancing economic ties between the two regions. The Alliance is a strategic trade and investment-focused partnership between 6 southeastern U.S. states and 6 Canadian provinces. This year's conference is focused on opportunities in the blue and green economies.
And welcome back to the Edge of Opportunity podcast here at SUS CP 2023. I'm Alan Dale. With me as always, my good buddy Jerry Carew. We are Gale Force Winds. A lot of cool things happening in this conference. A lot of interesting conversations being had. Kraken Robotics, Dan Sweeney, just a speaker here recently. Dan, tell us what you were talking about.
I came down this afternoon to take part in the panel discussion on subsea asset monitoring. So it was a great conversation with myself. We had some representation there from GRI Simulations. Steve Dodd was on, and Mike McGuire, who's CEO of a company called Copsys that's doing a digital skin for infrastructure protection as well. So it was a really cool conversation and a great opportunity to hear a little bit about some of the cool innovations that are happening in Newfoundland right now.
Kraken Robotics, tell us a little bit about what it is you guys do.
So we're a marine technology company. We're headquartered right here in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland and Labrador. We specialize in synthetic aperture sonar and subsea pressure tolerant batteries. So today the conversation was focused around our flagship product, our miniature interferometric synthetic aperture sonar, or MinSAS if you don't want to fit all your breath out in the one mouthful. So we were talking about basically how Kraken's got the unique perspective of having developed technology for a military application and then commercialized it, and we're now using it as a tool to support industry and their objectives as well. So there's a lot of overlap really when we talk about asset monitoring, as we're at the conference here today. The conversation is really similar to when we talk about critical infrastructure security when we have these conversations with defense partners as well. So it's an opportunity to really see where we can kind of collaborate and kind of bring over some of the conversations that are happening from one entity to the other and really sort of gain knowledge from both of those angles. So it was really great to be a part of that today.
Kraken Robotics, of course, doing business globally around the world, and you got a lot of folks up here from the southeastern part of the United States and indeed the Atlantic provinces and Ontario and Quebec. You see opportunity in any of those spaces for Kraken moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, there's opportunity everywhere that there's ocean, and there's certainly ocean in Canada and the southeastern United States. So it was certainly a very relevant conversation, I think, to everybody. Specifically, asset monitoring and subsea infrastructure. The world operates on subsea infrastructure these days, so it's uniquely everybody's problem and how we take care of it and how we protect it. So, yeah, it was a conversation that certainly I think the audience really interacted with and really related to. We had some great questions on the backside there. So. Yeah, for sure. I think this was a great medium for us to get out and have these conversations and get to understand what challenges are being dealt with in the southeastern United States and through Canada.
Now, undersea infrastructure, cabling, pipes, even I guess anything required for wind turbines and things that may lay on the bottom of the ocean. How does Kraken do it differently? How does the synthetic aperture sonar do it differently than something else?
Well, the real benefit of Kraken's MinSAS system is that it's an interferometric system. So while we go out and we collect a 3-centimeter resolution imagery data set, which is the industry standard, nobody else is getting 3-centimeter resolution in real time, we're also collecting simultaneously a 25-centimeter resolution bathymetric data set. So your operational cost of getting 2 data sets, you're just running 1 survey. So there's reduced vessel time there's reduced crewing, but it also reduces the amount of time that it's the turnaround from putting a vessel in the water to go out and get that data to having a data product that you can use to make informed decisions. So that's really the Kraken advantage, is going out and being able to get better data faster.
Wow, and that's like live data coming at you?
So with our Catfish product, all that data is in real time. So the first line of defense is the operator that's sitting in front of the sonar. They can see if there are any anomalies present or anything of concern. They can relay that information back to the customer in real time. With our autonomous systems that mobilize on autonomous underwater vehicles, those systems would be post-processed, but again, by virtue of communication, the technology doesn't exist yet to be able to relay that data over an acoustic medium. So when we have the benefit of having the tow cable, we can relay that data back topside in real time and get that info faster than anybody else.
Wow, so if port manager down in Biloxi, Mississippi, wanted a survey of his harbor, pull the catfish down. He could probably sit in his office and look at it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give you a good example of where we've had those applications before. We've had companies that call us after a major weather event where they've got shore landing stations for cables, and they're concerned that they've had shifting of the seabed profile after a major storm. So they've called us and said, hey, can you get out here? We need to know right away if we have a problem or not. So,
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
How deep can you go?
With a catfish system, we can go up down to 300 meters. With some of our autonomous systems, we can get down as deep as 6,000 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, so those systems we integrate with third-party vehicles, but the sonar systems themselves can get all the way down to 6,000.
Right here, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, Kraken Robotics. Dan, thanks very much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Very interesting, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Al.
Thank you for tuning in to the 2023 SUS CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The 2024 conference is taking place in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we look forward to seeing you there.